Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to my urban stead.
Well, great. I love that gate.
This gate is actually a full-size bed frame. And I used a wide gate like this because my husband and I are getting older and we wanted an entryway big enough for wheelchairs.
There you go. Thinking ahead.
And I have the matching one on the side gate.
What about this fence you've got here?
Okay, my fence is pallet wood. It's old pallets that we got for free from a friend who has a whole field full of them. My husband did a great job of getting them all level and finishing them off. We decided to go with a pallet wood fence because we have a very old house that's very weathered. Had we have put up brand new fencing, it would have made the house look really tacky.
Right.
But with the pallet wood fence, which serves its purpose, it separates my yard from the street, and it's weathered and it just fits in with the house and looks at home.
I look at your adobe finish on your house and that's amazing. Do you know how many people will spend hundreds of dollars to make a house look that way? Thousands of dollars.
Never thought of it, but when I was first attracted to the house, that did attract me.
It's perfect.
Where it's peeling and falling off.
It's perfect. The world is looking for vintage, and that is definitely vintage.
And to tell you the truth, I haven't been in any hurry to fix it. I do have windows to be installed because the windows do need to be fixed. I'm covering my peas and my corn, which is planted together in the same rows, to utilize this space that hasn't been used before. And I want to improve the soil. I just want to make it somewhat productive. The peas will add nitrogen and improve the quality of the soil, and hopefully I'll get some corn out of it, at least of a good enough quality to feed my chickens and rabbits. And this is one of the things with an urban stead. You want to use all of your land as productively as possible. So I have no grass in my front yard. Because I don't eat grass. So the straw that you see here is bedding out of my rabbit cages, and the whole plot will be covered with it. It's full of bunny manure and goat manure because my hay comes from a goat farmer. To fertilize the soil and make the plants grow. And I just planted it today with corn and peas.
Great.
And the peas will help fix nitrogen. Hopefully we'll get some corn out of it. It's kind of virgin plot. Nobody has done anything with this yard for 13 years.
Right.
So I'm just now getting it into production and starting to build the soil.
And the peas will bring nitrogen to the soil.
The peas will bring nitrogen and they'll vine right up the corn stalks.
It's almost like the Three Sisters method of the peas, squash, and corn, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's an offshoot of that. I didn't plant the beans with the corn because I have beans over here on the side yard all the way around.
You have a variety of things planted here.
I do. I have, on this side over here, I do have roses to grow up my trellis by my gate. They'll eventually give me rose hips. They're also a very aromatic, they're called a Don Juan climbing rose. So they'll attract a lot of pollinators.
Great.
As well as being beautiful. You always need eye candy on an urban stead. And then I have hazelnut shrubs and purple leaf plum planted over here. These are sunflowers, and I have a variety of different kinds to get different kinds of seeds from them to feed my chickens.
Right. Well, they seem to be very, very much flourishing. They seem to flourish. You're about to step on a little tree behind you. What is that?
They seem to be happy. I have one blooming today.
Beautiful.
So I'll have beans soon. This is a pawpaw tree, and I have marigolds around the bottom of it.
Pawpaw trees are familiar to certain states, but most people around here don't know what they are.
They're unfamiliar here. They're kind of a pear-shaped fruit that tastes like a banana.
Right.
And I've never had one, to tell you the truth, but they intrigued me, so
Right.
I ordered them. Back here I have my beautiful bed frame that all my neighbors want. And it will eventually be the trellis for my blackberries, which are just starting to grow. And then I also have some morning glory planted in here that will grow up and cover it this year, because it'll be another year before the blackberries grow up. And then I have some spring bulbs in there so that I'll have spring color. Once again, feeding the soul.
Right. I notice you've got, in what you're growing, you've got a lot of irrigating, like water hose tubing.
Yes.
This, with everything that you've got around here, you pretty much have to maintain it that way,
Yes.
rather than hand watering it. Tell us a little bit about how that works, or how often you use it, or how long each day do you run water here?
At this time, once it gets past 70 degrees, I water daily. And I usually water this late at night. It's a sprinkler hose, and it's just watering around the edge and this trellis and over here where my grapes are.
So you're not wasting any to evaporation or being blown away by the high winds that we have?
If it's really windy, I don't water. I wait until the wind dies down. Sometimes it's the middle of the night. But once it gets past 70 degrees, it pretty much needs to be watered every day. And once in a while, I bring a sprinkler out, and if it's not windy, and just mass water, because I have this old bedding material out of my rabbit pens as mulch, and I want that to melt down into this yard over the summer. This fall I will dig it down in and plant a cover crop, and I'll probably go with crown vetch.
And right now, this mulch, this heavy mulch system, is going to prevent our local weeds and local grasses from growing?
It will help prevent local weeds. The grass that I have here is a buffalo grass, so it's going to come right up through it.
Great.
Which is okay. I'll share with a little bit of grass. But mainly it's just this yard has had nothing done with it for so many years.
Right.
It's in such poor shape. I just need to feed the soil. Well, I grew up in North Idaho. My parents were descended from original pioneers. I had one great-grandmother and one grandmother who walked across this country behind their wagon pregnant, all the way across the country. So I'm very proud of that heritage. I come from a background of strong women. My people worked the land. All of my relatives were farmers in the beginning. I had a few uncles that went out and worked construction or logging, or went to college and worked professional jobs, but most of us were farmers. And I grew up in a close family where 3 or 4 generations of us would get together 3 or 4 times a year for family reunions. We helped each other. I lived in a community where children didn't have paying jobs. You went and helped the neighbors when they needed help because it was expected, and you were happy to do so. So you learned a lot of skills. I helped deliver babies from sheep and pigs, which we didn't have on our farm, by helping neighbors. My mother was a master gardener. She never knew that she was a master gardener, but she was. She was a 4-H leader. From an early age, I was involved in 4-H. In the 8 years that I was in 4-H, I took 142 horticultural projects.
Wow, that's awesome.
Including self-determined projects where I did test plots for jung seeds and burpee seeds, Jackson and Perkins roses, and Holland bulbs, and the University of Idaho and WSU. So as a child, I had 3 acres of garden that were my responsibility. And 2 acres of it, I had to record humidity, rainfall, water level, heat, 3 times a day for 6 months out of the year.
So you've spent pretty much your whole life learning how to make things grow.
How to make things grow and how to tend animals.
That's really awesome.